Checking it, hey. Just checking my stuff to see if it works. Doing my thing. All right, everybody. Come on now. We'll make it happen. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. How are you? Let me see. I think these headphones should work. It's tricky. It's very tricky. Hold on one second. Let me check something.
Hey, finally, the press.
Okay, nope. You can hear it. I can't. Something's wonky about this. Let's see. Perhaps. Hold on. Perhaps. My headphones started to die right before the show. This should work just fine. I'm just, but I had to patch quickly to make something work. And let's see. This guy. Okay, and then we go to...
Meat is gonna...
Nope. Okay, you guys can hear it. Something's wonky. Oh, maybe it's this. Nope. Check. Okay, that's pretty... Something's wonky. Oh, it's a cable, I bet. Hold on. It's this guy. All right, hold on. Be right back. Apparently it's a bad wire.
Go up. I think it's... %15 this year is what they're projecting. Foot.
All right, I got it worked out. I got it worked out. I'm probably going to deafen myself in about 10 seconds, but I'll do it for you. That's all. Nope, it's all fine. We're good. It's just, it has nothing to do with much of anything. It's just much ado about not things. Fixed it. I'm good. All right. We're holding it together. Okay. So welcome to the show. Hi. Friday afternoon. Yeah. I was just, before the show, my headphones that I normally use in the show, by the way, are really sweet. And thanks to Jet again for getting those for me as a gift. If they don't sit perfectly in their little case, they don't charge at all. Like AirPods, they just click right in and they're good. These guys, they're finicky. And so if I don't seat them on and wait for the light to come on, or I forget to, or I shut the case and don't notice whether it did or not, or if it seems to come on and then I shut the case and it bumps it a little, they don't charge. That's something I have to remedy. Not your problem. Just catching you up on why I was just monkeying around with wires. But I should be okay. Now, obviously the big news today, if I may, is the Paul Pelosi video, which came out. And equally as distressing, Donald Trump dropped a bunch of like 1 minute, 2 minute, 30-second videos, just like one right after the other in a fucking panic attack. Now, that's the way it looks, and that's the way it is. But also, I personally believe that somebody at like Devin Nunes or whoever is helping him kind of, I don't know, scrounge some sort of support together for Truth Social, they're like, fuck, we need some content. And these 2.5 minute videos every so often are not going to do it. So hold on a second. We're going to be like, it's dying over there. So I think these videos, he normally posts these both on his website and on Truth Social. I think that's what this is. These are, I mean, there's a fucking bunch of them. Here, I'll show you real quick before we even get into them, because I'm going to precursor this with you. Yeah. So let's see, and I'll move it down so you can see it a little better. There you go. And here's one. Here's another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. Oh, no, that's the General Flynn one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. 7 of them, sorry. 8 is, this is the page. He's just been cranking these fucking things out. And 23 hours ago, yeah. Oh, and he did this yesterday. There's 2 more of these things. Fucking hell. The last one we did was a week ago, where we must protect Medicare and Social Security, his warning to Republicans. This time, he's just flipping the fuck out, like this guy right here. This is a 5-minute video. We'll get into this in a second. But what I want to do first, because the Pelosi video came out and this asshole was among, that's Glenn Beck, ladies and gentlemen. That dickhead right here is among the right-wing pricks who he and Stu, his side piece / kick, whatever, were shit-talking Pelosi all during this thing, like running gags about him being, that's his gay lover and what with the blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's just start from scratch. The conspiracy theories about David DePape and that he knew Pelosi or any of that stuff is absolute fucking nonsense. Materially unsupported by the facts. You have to be the worst kind of like bench burner conspiracy theorist even to put your fucking name behind it. It is just like all the conspiracies around are not only just their ass. They're it's stuff that like Alex Jones shrugged off very early, by the way, not because he wouldn't have run with it, but because he had enough problems. If he hadn't been sued about the Sandy Hook shit, we'd have been hearing his take on the Paul Pelosi attack for months. So I'm not saying he took a moral stance in any of this shit. Meanwhile, they were playing, and I got to see if I can find this for you. Yeah, I think it's here. Okay. So right before I came on the air, there was, and I'll see if I can bring this up real quick.
We do want to play for you.
Okay. So this is earlier. This is, today. Hold on. They're going to go to, yeah, here it is. So they played the Pelosi audio. I'm going to click to this. I'll switch to YouTube so it's easier to look at.
Is the Capitol?
So they played the full audio of the largest portion of the call on Deadline White House. And if you haven't seen the middle segment on Deadline White House about this, I highly recommend it. We love Nicole and yada yada, but they they not only play the call, they have the words written out as he's saying them. And as it's interesting when they do a transcript of a call, oftentimes you will notice, I think anyways, you will notice things that because you know what words are coming up, you are expecting them, and it's easy to see clearer, I think, what the person's intent was. So give me 1 second, because I want to see if I can at least find the written transcript. This is the San Francisco Examiner's take. Okay, here you go. So, all right. So it starts really. The portion of this story, and then here I'll blow it up for you even bigger. Blink. The portion of this story that is it's really fucking crucial. This is, by the way, the San Francisco Examiner's transcript of the 911 call. It's been out for a while, and you can see it written down, but the audio of it mixed with what he's saying, you can really tell that this is a dude who's got a fucking crazy person in their house who's told them a raft of shit. They have tried to leave the room several times. Paul Pelosi tried to leave the room several times. He tried to get to a room that he knew had a firearm in it, couldn't do it. Tried to get to a room that had a physical landline in it. Because more than likely, you lift that landline and push the right button, and it's all over. Because that's when they storm the place, because of Nancy. But he managed to get into the bathroom where his cell phone was charging, and he put it on speaker while he was talking to the police. And the absolute code this guy is saying, and it's super abundantly clear when you listen to it and you hear it at the same time, that he's like, there's a nutty person, a fucking lunatic with a hammer, a couple of feet away from him, woke him up out of a dead sleep. He's in his fucking underwear and his shirt, his nightshirt that he's sleeping in. And he's like, okay, can I go to the bathroom? Like, he's been going through something with this fucker for something like 25 minutes. The guy was going to tie him up. He doesn't know if he has a gun or a bomb, but he has a hammer for sure. And he's threatening him with it. He talks this shit. He's like, there to kill Nancy, and he's like, she's not here. So what are we doing here? It's this whole piece. Now, has anybody watched The Sinner? It's a series on Netflix with Bill Pullman. Does anybody watch that show? I'll wait for the chat to catch up. The Sinner is, hold on 1 second. The Sinner is it's a detective story. Bill Pullman plays a sort of crotchety old detective with sciatica, and Jessica Biel is the executive producer. She was in the first series, became a producer, and then continued to produce the series for the rest of it. She's terrific. It's awesome. So of all the seasons, I enjoyed all of them. But season 3 is probably the best as far as tension and story and thread and mystery. It's really fucked up. And there is a scene, and I wish I could fucking bring it up, where this woman's, there's this college professor dude, his buddy who is nutty and drives him to do all kinds of awful that he doesn't want to do, shows up and then is trying to basically threatening him to out his life to his wife and the world and blah, blah, blah. And it's going to ruin his career and his marriage. And he's about to have a baby. And he wants to go back and do these weird, the guy's just psycho, stabs himself through the hand while they're at dinner at this nice restaurant, blah, blah, blah. And it's like his friend is crazy and they're driving and he's like, stop the car. I want to get out. And his friend just starts speeding really fast. And he reaches over and he pulls the parking brake to stop his friend from, speeding down this country road where they're headed to this woman's house where he doesn't know what he's got planned for him, but it might entail fucking killing this woman. And so anyways, he pulls the lever and the car flips over and his buddy's wasn't wearing his seatbelt because he's a adrenaline junkie, flies through the windshield, and he's bleeding to death on the fucking hood. And the main bad guy in this series, gets out of the car, walks around, and sees his friend bleeding to death, and lets him die because the guy he makes this choice, and the guy's almost about to be able to reach his phone and call 911, and he takes the phone away and he turns it off. That begins this guy's spiral down, and later on, this all happens on this woman's road, and I don't want to spoil it, so I'm dodging story points. But this all happens on this private road out to this woman's house, where his buddy has actually dug a grave, and they're going to bury each other, and as a trust exercise because he's fucking crazy. So this woman Sonia wants to know why the fuck they were on a road, and she and Bill Pullman's character kind of hit it off. Because he's trying to figure out whether they were going to attack her, whether they have some connection to the house, what was going on, why they're there, blah, blah, blah. And at one point, as this guy is spiraling down, he kills other people. And Pullman's the only guy going, he's going to keep killing unless we arrest him. And everybody's like, it was an accident. That's part of that's the struggle of the story. There is a scene where this guy, Jamie, shows up at Sonia's house, and Pullman has told her, get the fuck out of there. He's out. We don't know where he is, but there's a chance he's cleaning house and he might be coming your way. And she doesn't leave. And he shows up in her house. And it's fantastic work. Both the actors are firing on all cylinders. It's an amazing scene, really well done. But he's dressed all in black and got a sock cap on, and he's talking to her. And she's like, I think you came here because you don't want to kill me. And he's like, I think you should have left because I'm gonna. And then he goes over and he pulls a knife out. And then it's on. And the show, that's a very tense fucking scene. And it's longer than you would expect that exchange to be, because it builds a lot of tension. That's why one of the reasons why it's really well done. But she's trying to keep him calm and say, you don't really want to do this, or you would have done it already. Like, that's what she's trying to do. Because she thinks he's still got some there, and whatever. Having, just watched that recently. And then, of course, my girlfriend and I just watched Play Misty for Me. I don't know if anybody's seen Play Misty for Me. It was Clint Eastwood's directorial debut. In 1971, I think he did it. And it's about a radio DJ who is kind of on the outs with his girlfriend, the woman he wants to be with. And there's this woman who's a fan of the station and likes his show and always calls in and says, play Misty for me. And it's late 60s, early 70s. Everybody's free sexually. She's a liberated woman, and she's like, I'm not interested in anybody. You're not interested in anybody. We can knock boots and it's no problem. And then she's super fucking attached. It isn't Sandra Locke. She's not in it. Jessica Walters. Yeah. It's harsh as fuck. It's a tough one. And she, at one point, is ripping his place apart. She made a key to his house. She sneaks into his house while he's not there, and she's cutting up his furniture and slashing. She's got a knife, and she's stabbing his pillows and his mattress, and she's tearing up everything. And his cleaning lady, his housekeeper, comes in and doesn't know. But, she's just walking around. The place is tore up. And she's like, what the fuck? I'll get to this, Jamie. You'll work. Believe me. The maid comes in and she's like, what the fuck happened here? And she's walking around through the house and she can hear breathing in one of the rooms. And she opens the door and there's the woman. She's been stabbing shit. And she just turns around and starts hacking at her. She doesn't end up killing her. Spoiler alert. But she slashes her on her jaw and her arm, and it's really fucking awful. It's a really, I mean, it's, limited to the filmmaking of the time, but it's really, what's great about it and what's engaging and scary about it is that it's really uncoordinated and impulsive and gross and scary, and there's so much more to it than just like some horror movie idea that whap, one stab and you're dead, or they stab someone and the person just kind of falls over. It goes all over the place. Right? She's trying to get away from her. It was nuts. It's so disturbing, the scene. It's heartbreaking, it's scary, and it's very realistic comparatively. Compared to somebody snuck in the house and boiled a rabbit or one of these other things. It's total. So, okay. Both of those situations have several moments where people are confronted with a crazy person and they are trying to either maneuver to a position where they can get out of the fucking room or try to reason with the person who's in front of them, which is what everybody does in that circumstance. Hey, nobody wants to do this. Like, nobody just bolts a lot of times. It's just just how it works, especially if you're relatively trapped, if you're in your space. If it means jumping out a second floor window, you've got really limited options. And so the same thing is true. Hi, chat room, by the way. Play Misty for me, and this scene in The Sinner are very realistic portrayals of those kind of things, as opposed to just bang, or somebody throws stuff and then they run and dive out a window, or, fucking put some gasoline and some steel wool in a fucking microwave and hit 10 and jump out a window and it beeps 3 times and the house blows up and they save themselves, or they manage to like slap a table and a gun pops up, shit like that. That that cleans everything up. A lot of we've said this a bunch of times. Humans are fucking gooey messes. There's a lot of shit that happens in those moments, and you don't quite know what you'll do in those moments until you experience it. And in this particular instance, fucking Pelosi's in this situation, dude has nerves of fucking steel. So we'll listen to the audio here real quick. He's called 911 in San Francisco, and he doesn't, because he picks up, if you pick up the landline, I guess, in their house, it goes straight to the Capitol Police because they've got security. But if he's picking up his cell phone and maybe he's just trying to trick like David DePape that he's calling DC, the Capitol Police, to see when Nancy's coming, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, God knows what conversation. He doesn't remember some of the things that happened before because he got hit in the fucking head with a hammer. So, anyways, check this out.
Police around?
220.
No, this is San
They usually protect my wife. They're usually here at the house protecting my wife.
He goes, is the Capitol Police there? She said, no, this is San Francisco. He goes, they're usually here at the house protecting my wife. He's telling the 911 operator who he is and that the Capitol Police are part of this. This is something bigger than just someone calling in. And by the way, it says Pelosi residents when it comes up on their phone.
No, this is San Francisco Police.
Friday, October.
I understand.
8, 2022.
Okay, well,
0224 and
what do you think?
18 seconds.
Think everything's good? He thinks everything's good. I've got a problem, but he thinks everything's good.
He thinks, David DePape goes, everything's good. And he goes, he thinks everything's good. I've got a problem, but he thinks everything's good. He is talking to a fucking crazy person.
Okay. Call us back if you change your mind.
No. This gentleman just came into the house, and he wants to wait here for my wife to come home.
0, 2,
and so,
4 and 48.
Anyway, he told me to put the phone down.
Do you know
And he goes, he told me to put the phone down.
who the person is?
No, I don't know who he is. He has this. He's telling me not to. He's telling me not to do anything.
Right. He's telling me not to do anything. It gets worse after that too. So here's do you know who this person is? No, I don't know who he is. He's telling me not to do anything. What is your address? He says it. What's your name? My name is Paul Pelosi. Anyway, this gentleman says he thinks he's telling me to put the phone down and just do what he says. Okay, that is clear and direct to the 911 operator. There's a person across from me who is telling me to put the phone down and do what he says. I'm not going to yell, he's got a gun, you hear a bang, and I'm dead. He is clearly trying to work this out. This transcript has been out for a while. So all the people who had like a, the conspiracy theorists that went through this were lying past this. Okay, what's the gentleman's name? And then DePap, because he's got him on speaker, says David DePap. And the person says, what's that? He goes, my name's David. And Paul Pelosi goes, the name is David. Okay, and who is David? And Paul Pelosi says, I don't know. And then 9/11 says something. He goes, what's that? And DePap says, I'm a friend of theirs. And Paul Pelosi says he's a friend, but you don't know who he is? No, ma'am. Okay, he's telling me I'm being very leading, so I got to stop talking to you, okay? He's telling me that that's abundantly clear. He's telling me, like, stop telling him what's going on, or that kind of thing. He's telling me I'm leading you, so I got to stop talking to you, okay? Okay, you sure I can stay on the phone with you just to make sure everything's okay? No, he wants me to get the hell off the phone, okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, bye. So that's the call. Minutes later, they fucking show up. Now, this fuckhead, Glenn Beck, absolutely knew of that 911 transcript and has for a while. And he and Stu had no problems. Yeah, CSL, just fucking horrible. Imagine, and again, this is not me. This is not just CSL. This is not fucking Joe Rogan. This is not, my friend Brooks. People who can take care of themselves, who in many ways are prepped for intruders psychologically on the regular, and physically we're in a decent space to be able to do it. Some level of fighting skill, a certain level of health, that in a necessary moment, I feel personally I could take on David DePap and not have a problem. Hammer or no, wouldn't fucking matter. Paul Pelosi is an old man. An old man woken up alone in a house with this fucking lunatic spouting shit with a hammer in his hand. And the cool and calm, collected nature of how he handled that 911 call is fucking legendary at this point. It's amazing this guy just had a hammer. He didn't just have a hammer. He had a backpack, and he had, with him, he had zip ties, tape, rope, the hammer. And the other idea is that Pelosi didn't know if he had something else in his pocket beyond the hammer. There you go. Yeah, you don't call 911 to tell him you have company. No, you don't. So anyways, this fuckhead absolutely knew about that part and was selling this whole idea of like, it's really weird that he walks up to the door and opens it and they're standing there together and they both say no problem. And then he walks several feet back into it. That was the report that they constantly, that one reporter that was put on leave that they all hung on to, clung to as part of it or exaggerated as part of his reporting on it, that they walked, and every time we heard it, it was like 7 to 10 to 12 fucking feet that he went back into the house. And this asshole puts a video up. Glenn breaks down body cam footage from Paul Pelosi attack. Check out the backpedaling.
Things have been so scattered and everywhere on this. It's hard to figure out, now that I have seen it, what is the game here?
Again, this is a man who participated in the right-wing narrative that they were gay lovers, that they had to have known this guy, that there's no footage of him breaking into the house, that they fucking, I don't know, did the fucking waltz in the middle of the living room, and the cops were like, okay, see you later. Like, they boosted and joked about this shit the whole time. And he's going to complain about confusion that he fucking made.
What did this serve?
your anti-gay murder porn right-wing nut job mentality. I think that's what it served.
I'm going to start with the NBC news footage of somebody who worked for NBC, I think San Francisco, put this thing together. It was edited by the NBC News team for their morning show, the national morning show. It played once, it was posted, and then it was pulled. And then this reporter hadn't been really seen since. And we've been asked.
Because he exaggerated not only his sourcing on it, but he lied about the context.
Why is this story so different than the story, apparently, that was coming out from everyone else? Why wouldn't NBC answer any questions on this? If what he said wasn't true,
and it wasn't,
he should be fired.
Yeah. Well, and again, they did the local NBC News affiliate firing. They took him off the air and desk jockeyed him and then allowed him to exit gracefully was the idea. Because it wasn't like, fuck Paul Pelosi, I saw the whole thing. It was him trying to get a jump, which is what they ask him to do all the time, and greasing it.
And they should be comfortable saying that, but they didn't. If it was true, we needed to know.
No, you don't. You might want to know, but Occam's razor, or the essence, Marcus Aurelius, boiling something down. What is the thing in and of itself? An attack on the husband of the Speaker of the House does not affect your fucking life. It does not affect any of the legislation going forward. You might say that it would, after the fact, temper her beliefs one way or other, and therefore if it was a political attack, it might trend her like if her husband is the Twin Towers and the PAP is the 9/11 hijackers. That attack might trend the law in the United States for another 10 years, that idea, but it didn't, and it wasn't, and there wasn't any expectation that it fucking would. She didn't present a bill the next day to like lock up anybody who threatens someone with violence, or fucking Jimmy Dore fans, which I'm kidding. None of it matters to you that Paul Pelosi was attacked. None of it. If Nancy was attacked as a citizen, that's going to fuck with you. That if Nancy was attacked, it's going to change the balance of who controls. It's going to change how legislation would have come to the floor. But it's none. But the rest of it is like any other crime story in the United States. It's none of fucking Glenn Beck's business, except for the fact that David DePape believes what Glenn has said about the Democratic Party for a couple of years.
That's how you gain trust.
No. You undermine trust by saying you know things you don't know and vilifying people in absentia just to score fucking points. That's what he's doing. The lack of trust in the situation is not about the fact that NBC lied as an organization nationally, but that Glenn Beck can't fucking tap the brakes on his conspiracy brain.
Being transparent. So let me start before I...
Also, when someone gets fired from an organization, a news organization, there is going to be an HR process wherein there are agreements about, hey, if you step down, we won't shit talk you. But if you don't step down, we're going to have to tell everybody, okay, I'll step down. That goes on, which is why they're not going to be transparent, because they're not going to fucking crucify this guy because because right wingers are looking specifically for an angle to make anti-gay jokes.
I'll show you the Paul Pelosi footage. Let me start with NBC.
By the way, this is so he excuses himself. It's not my fault. I watched one report. I didn't watch the rest of them. I didn't follow up. But that one report left me with lots of questions.
The exact opposite of the story that the Pelosi's and the rest of the media was trying to pitch. Here it is.
Craig, good morning. When officers arrived here at the Pelosi home exactly a week ago today, they initially didn't have any idea exactly what was going on. They knew they had a high priority call on their hand. What was unclear, what was happening inside the property just behind me.
Right. Okay. All of that relatively true. They might have had I'm sure the dispatcher said, I think it might be a hostage-like circumstance, but they didn't know if the dude was barricaded with a gun or if it was a fucking disgruntled employee or if it was, a crank call.
This morning, Paul Pelosi...
Yeah, again, that's an excellent point. What's Glenn Beck doing getting his info from NBC as a source anyways? Yeah, because these fuckers decry the mainstream media, but then blame the mainstream media if they believe one particular take. Of all the mainstream media outlets that were out there, he hung on to this one because it fit his narrative the most. But you and I, we've got fucking we're narrative capture. We've got confirmation bias.
Is home, back at the house that became a crime scene a week ago today. NBC News learning new details about the moments.
Broke glass outward. Oh, the BS about that. Yeah, you can see the dude pushing his fat ass through the broken window panes that he makes.
Police arrived. Sources familiar with what unfolded in the Pelosi residence now revealing when officers responded to the high priority call, they were seeming...
Look at him making notes. Now you're fucking making notes? Why don't you make notes on all the other versions of this that came out?
Unaware they'd been called to the home of the Speaker of the House. After a knock and announce, the front door was opened by Mr. Pelosi. The 82-year-old did not immediately declare an emergency or try to leave his home, but instead began walking several feet back into the foyer toward the assailant and away from police.
And by the way, several feet never fucking happened. Also, again, they clung to this, and this guy got this. That's the detail that turned out to be like bullshit sourced, basically exaggerated. Anyways, you'll see the video, but everybody else is going. He stepped back a little bit, like that. And it's clear, by the way, if you watch it, he'll show part of the video, I'm sure. But if you watch Pelosi, he's holding onto this hammer like, hi, like, shoot this fucking guy, without saying shoot this guy, because he'll start really moving and then he'll do something. He's trying to move this dude out in front so that they're separate. And DePap keeps trying to get the hammer away from him and move behind him at the same time.
Okay, it's unclear if
Okay, stop. That's all I listened to. And from that, I was able to extrapolate a huge conspiracy and a giant anti-gay series of attacks. How am I not supposed to think that? I saw it printed on the screen by NBC from source unknown. Therefore,
that's all you need to hear. Now that leads people to believe.
No, it does not. It doesn't lead me to believe anything. It's single source. There were a lot more details. A lot of us can hold our fucking nuts until the video comes out.
That there is something going on. That there has to be some other kind of dealing going on.
Yeah, was there ejaculate on the floor? What color were the balloons? This is San Francisco. Fuck off. If you saw that, you'd go several feet. What's the house look like? Is DePap backing him away? It's so stupid.
If he walked to the door, answered police, and then didn't try to leave.
Yeah, why wouldn't he try to leave? You'd think maybe there was something else going on. Now, he doesn't remember a bunch of it because he got hit in the fucking head, but it's pretty clear that from the phone call that more than likely DePap said, if you try to run, I will kill you. They might kill me, but you're going to die too. Something along those lines. And so Pelosi was trying to hi.
Nor did he alert the police that there was emergency. Instead, he called 911.
The 911 operator tried to hang up on him because they thought it was not a necessary call. And he went, no. This man is in my house and he's looking for my wife, who's Nancy Pelosi. I'm Paul Pelosi. He called 911. That's the announcement. He shouldn't have to say any more, especially when he's locked arms with a fucking lunatic who's got a hammer.
Several feet backwards towards the assailant.
Again, it is not lost on anyone, especially you, that Glenn Beck bought one report from an NBC reporter, an NB fucking C, from MSDNC.
What's that all about?
What's up with that? Maybe you heard it wrong, fucko.
Okay, that's the NBC report. Now, after months, let's now
enjoy what assholes we've all been.
Reveal what the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, and I think the Associated Press sued for the right to see. Here is the...
By the way, which reinforced their reporting. You see, because what was getting carried mostly because of assholes like this and Elon Musk was that narrative, that one little, they must have fired him because he was telling the truth. They only fire people for telling the truth. They only jail people for telling the truth, which is kind of true. I mean, Scott Ritter told that cop the truth when he said he'd like to fuck them. It's just that in truth, he thought they were a 15-year-old boy. I don't remember.
Actual body cam footage of the police arriving at Nancy and Paul Pelosi's house that night.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
How are you?
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
So, okay, see, all right, far from moving back, you see how Paul Pelosi is holding this guy like this, and he's like trying to move him into the doorway and both of them so they can both be seen and what's going on. Like he is clarifying in a couple of seconds. And again, Pelosi has managed to fucking talk this nutcase into not killing him up to this point. We know, because this is after, that motherfucker hits him in the head with the fucking hammer. But at that point, it hadn't happened yet. He was just a nutty dude that he had managed so far to keep from attacking him. And so maybe, okay, no, they're just going to take you, and then that's it. And then they go, oh gosh, I have a story, right? Because up to this point, he has not been struck. And everybody in hindsight looks back at everything that happened in the context of this is a guy who was attacked. But up to this point, everything that Paul Pelosi has done and is doing is working. He has managed to stay alive in the face of this fucking crazy person in his own house for at least an hour and change. Right?
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope. Hey.
Okay, and they say drop the hammer, and it's clear Pelosi has a hold on it. He's trying to hold the top of it because that's the hard, sharp part and hitty point. That's right. That's if you grab the bottom of it, whoop, your hand comes off. But if you can grab the top, that's the part that you don't want somebody to be able to swing on. So he's got it up. He's choked up on that fucking thing, and he's not letting go. He may have even grabbed and said, the police are here. Look, you don't want to do this, whatever. We'll just answer the door. Everything's going to be fine. And then, boom, right? He steps closer. And then he goes, everything's fine. And then Pelosi's like not saying a fucking word, but he's got his hand. He's like, gah. And then he goes, put the gun down. He goes, nope. Watch this.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope. Hey.
What is going on right now?
I'm not getting an answer.
Okay. Look at Glenn. Luckily, the hit happens off camera. I'm sorry if it's shocking to people, but at least it happens. You don't see it actually physically happen. Look at Glenn. This is the look of a man whose entire narrative, based on bigotry and bloodlust, and his faux Christian horseshit that he sells all the fucking time with Stu is collapsing. Yeah. Now the police run in and go, and it's all big fucking. They tackle him. It's a big mess. Look at Glenn. Oh, it's so scary. Yeah, you're right, motherfucker. Of course it's scary. It's a home invasion, you dumb fuck. Reminder that where are all the castle doctrine folks? Where's that response? Honest to God, if this had happened exactly as it played out to a right-wing politician's mate, husband, wife, whatever, the entire conversation would be about how they would have been justified in pulling a gun out of the nightstand and blasting holes in the motherfucker the minute he walked into the room. By the way, that's them tasing him and slamming his head against a wall. And he passes out and starts snoring. Or starts farting and snoring. Both.
I got him, Michael.
That's Paul Pelosi on the ground. You do not see, for those of you guys that are concerned or squeamish, you don't see his head or any bleeding or any of that kind of stuff. You barely see him the rest of this. They really do focus on DePap. That's DePap's foot because he passed out as soon as they tasered him.
Now let's do it.
Edward 14, Edward, send back up, code 3.
Code 3 back up at 26.
Give me your hand!
Units code
Give me your
Now let's-
hand!
40 Broadway for 14 hours.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's very crazy. This is fucking reality. It's not clean like you see in the fucking movies. It's a mess.
Okay, when you're first hearing the end of it, let me start at the end. When you're first hearing the end of it, and you're hearing that growl, you're apt to think, well, I know why Nancy Pelosi had the priest come around the house and exorcise it. Was that the growl of the devil? Was that the growl of a dog?
Fuck you.
No, that was the assailant.
Yes, Paul was passed out. He was struck in the head and rendered unconscious. The other guy, DePap, they tackled him, and one of them, I guess in there rolling him over and trying to get him off of Pelosi, he passed out for a minute. And, and then they're like, and kind of came to as they're trying to get his hands behind his back.
We believe when you're knocked out cold, it's not uncommon for you to start snoring. That was him.
Yes, this is something that Stu and Glenn deal with all the time when they play the surprise Cluzo-Cato knockout game in the Blaze cafeteria.
Snoring. One last comment at the end of it is, poor cops, man. They always are seeing the butt crack of somebody. Now, let me go back to the beginning. If you watch this...
Yeah, we did.
Is there any doubt in your mind that Paul Pelosi is in trouble? And
no. You know why? Because I saw the transcript of the fucking 911 call fucking months ago where he's like, this guy says he's a friend. He's not a friend. I don't know who this guy is. He's waiting for my wife to come home and he's threatening me. He's telling me to put the phone down. He's not supposed to be here. Yes, he came into the house. Yes, he's here and he's telling me to do what he says. And he's here for my wife. She's the Speaker of the House. Like,
everybody who is watching from the other side of the door, and there are lots of police there.
No, there aren't. There's 3. There's 2 in the lead and 1's out on the street.
That everybody...
There are not lots of police. There's lots of David DePap.
Watching knows that he's in trouble.
Yeah. Right. Which means that NBC reporter that you talked to, whoever he spoke to, wasn't any of those fucking guys. Wasn't a single one of the responding officers. And that's who he was saying he had as a source. Hence, fucking fired.
His hand is being held by a guy with a hammer. He comes up to the door. He tries to walk back, but this is obviously some sort of a hostage situation.
Yeah, I know. You know how I know? Because I saw the fucking 911 transcript months ago.
Let me play this again. Start at the opening of the door, please.
Hi. Guys. How you doing?
How are you?
What's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Okay, stop.
See how he tried to move him towards the door? Right.
Stop. Now, Paul Pelosi's just taken a step towards the police.
Hey, look who fucking showed up for class.
There is no backing up yet.
There is no backing up at all. None. Nothing. Nothing even remotely like the backing up several feet into the thing and not announcing there was a problem, like they de-escalated something for 20 fucking minutes and then it all happened at once. None of that. None of it is true. It's not even fucking close to true.
And he steps towards the front door.
Mm-hmm. And then when he does take a step that seems slightly back, he's trying to rotate that fucker into the door frame so they can perforate him, I'm guessing.
It is so very clear that Paul Pelosi is not going to the door unafraid and on his own volition. He is not standing there holding the guy's hand because they're having a lover's twist. That's not what's going on.
Tryst. Not twist, although I've tried that and it's a good time. Tryst.
He's clearly being held hostage. Now watch again.
Hi. Drop the hammer.
Nope.
Stop.
Hey.
Stop. You'll see here that this was another one of the controversies. It was said that they were both, first it was they were both in their underwear. Absolutely not true.
Okay, first of all, that's not in the NBC thing at all. That's just fucking made up. That, that was, again, notice how he pegs that NBC source at the beginning, and this is very Matt Taibbi as well, pegs that NBC source, and then almost like everything he gets wrong or he grabs from some fucking meme or thread or fucking Don Jr., that is now all part of the NBC video. It's all to blame there.
Then they were both fully dressed. That's not true. The attacker is fully dressed, but Paul Pelosi is either wearing a shirt or a nightshirt and his boxer shorts. He looks like a guy who was woken up in the middle.
Hey, go fucking figure. Jesus Christ.
Middle of the night.
Right. Which, by the way, one of the big stories, I don't know if you guys notice it. See, it says 9/31/54. See how it says that? Okay. That it is not, for the record, I don't know if you've ever been to San Francisco, but it's not like Alaska 6 months out of the year. It is not fucking pitch black outside where you need a flashlight at 9:31 a.m. in San Francisco ever.
This again dissolves all of the crazy rumors that, they were having a, sex fest or whatever it was. This obviously appears to be exactly what they said it was. A guy woken up.
Yes, what everyone except that single source NBC story where the guy got fired for talking out of his ass and lying about things that turned out not to be true. Not to be true.
In the middle of the night by another guy who was threatening him, wanted to see Nancy Pelosi and kill her. And when they came to the door, police arrived. I didn't see him not announce that he's an emergency. If you have a dangerous guy right beside you, he steps forward towards the police like, can you see what's going on here? Help, 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 help. And I haven't seen him back up until next.
What is going on right
I'm
now?
not getting an answer.
Yes, he backs up to avoid being struck in the head by a careening hammer. Yeah. Where's Paul Pelosi going? Is he going to the kitchen to get a drink of water? He's running upstairs to get some new lube. What is it, Glenn?
And he's not walking away from his attacker. Toward his attacker. And that's what NBC News said, that he was backing up towards his attacker. No, he wasn't. He was backing up away from the front door to get away from his attacker.
Huh. Gee, it's almost like Glenn is finally saying what all of us knew months ago.
And I don't think I've seen something this brutal
Since I got between Stu and the Little Debbies.
in a long time. I did not expect it to be as brutal as it.
It was a hammer attack. He was in the hospital for 6 fucking days. He got hit and he's like an 80-year-old man. He got hit in the head with a fucking hammer. It's exactly what part of hitting the head with a hammer and knocked completely unconscious? The fuck are you talking about? Shut the fuck up. Can you imagine being this fucking dense? I don't know. I never thought. When they said he was attacked by a lunatic and hit in the head with a hammer and had to be put into an induced coma and then drain blood out of his brain so that it wouldn't destroy parts of his cerebral cortex. I just thought, I was like, is that kind of a Nerf thing or? Oh my fucking God.
As it was. Paul Pelosi is lucky to be alive.
Yeah, he's lucky to be alive, to hear fuckos like you say that he probably had it coming and have the ex-president's son make jokes about underwears and hammers about his fucking murder and ratchet up right-wing violence that easily. Jesus Christ.
Now, I don't understand.
Human interaction, relationships, reality, any of these things.
Why that wouldn't have been released.
Because they had to make a case against DePape, and they hold that thing because it's prejudicial. And now, because of you fucking assholes, David DePape gets to say, there was other stuff going on in my mind at the time, and I think that's prejudicial. Anybody who saw the video is now prejudiced against me because there's video of me now hitting him. So you've released it to the public. So they're going to have preconceived notions. There's no way that we can make our case from day one in the defense with a fresh jury thanks to you fuckheads. That's why. And watch. After this, DePape's attorney is going to ask to fucking move the fucking jury to Oakland or San Jose or fucking Orange County.
It just came out, so some people say it's, there's more questions. Like, for instance, he's holding a water bottle, etc. I honestly, I think this is what we thought it was. Do we?
No, what you thought it was a lover's quarrel because it's fucking San Francisco, you bigoted. I'm going to use some. I almost said the C word that my Irish and Scottish ancestors
We have
enjoy.
The home surveillance yet? We do? Let me show.
Yes, everyone has it.
Show you the breaking into the house. Remember, there are a lot of things that you said, and I said.
I said?
I haven't seen glass come out of a window unless you're using something like a hammer.
Oh, fuck you. Look at this asshole acting this out. Oh, God, fuck off.
And you bring it in, and then
you bring it in, and then you yank it out, and you do the hokey pokey with the
kind of Doing that with the glass as you're pulling the hammer out. I have not seen this footage, but...
Okay. He didn't just break the glass. He didn't... Again, this is movie bullshit. When people break into a house, that they, like, it's one of the reasons why I love The Good Guys. You ever see The Good Guys? You have to see The Good Guys. It's an amazing fucking film. But when Ryan Gosling wraps his hand in a cloth and punches through the glass, and then he ends up slitting his wrist and almost bleeding to death, because it's still glass. It doesn't just fall through. Right. So, yes, I saw that, Moms Russo. Those guys have been charged. There's no controversy beyond that. I think it's playing out the way it is, and we don't need to watch it together. People certainly can. This is about a narrative that's gone on for a long time, and I think there's a distinction. I hope so, because there's a shit ton. Like you can watch body cam footage. Go to Law and Crime. You can watch all the body cam footage of everything all the fucking time. Anyways, so he busts his hand, he slices his hand open. Okay. The other thing is when people just go smack, 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 and they break out one pane, and then they reach in and they unlock the door, and then they open up the door and they come on in. Okay, that's not what this fuckhead does at all. He's a lunatic, and and I mean that in the most pejorative, non-clinical way possible. He's not insane. He's fucking crazy. It's different. He obviously was able to find the house and not get hit by a car on his way there. So, like, if you don't try to hug a bus on your way to a murder scene, you're sane enough to stand trial.
Here's the footage of the surveillance cameras at the house of the assailant breaking in.
We also have our first look at the video on the attack of...
Oh, yeah. The other thing is, and I just posted something about this on Twitter, that apparently a bunch of right-wingers think that he changed his fucking clothes because his shorts are white in this, and he's wearing green shorts later. Of course, never occurs to them that, A, this is night vision for outdoor security cams, and the trees don't turn white at night in San Francisco either.
Paul Pelosi, husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Look at this.
Look at this.
Now, remember I told you that there...
Look at Glenn. Look at miserable Glenn. Can we just shove all the horror that you're feeling aside, move a moment away from your outrage? I know it's difficult. And just let us enjoy little Glenny Beck being told to sit in the corner and wear a fucking dunce cap. Look at the look on his fucking face as his entire meme concept of reality comes crashing down around his dipshit head.
There were going to be things other than the police body cam that would be released. This is the surveillance video outside the home.
It looks exactly like what he was doing.
It looks exactly like what he was doing. Yes, what everybody said he was fucking doing. What Paul Pelosi described. What the Secret Service described. What the fucking police that came forward and spoke about it talked about. But no, all of a sudden they're not liars because you bought into the worst possible take you could possibly fucking find.
The suspect, DePath. And you see him.
Look at him. He's literally hacking with the claw side and pulling this shit out onto the ground. And it was like, how does that work? It's because he's trying to. At one point, he tries to unlock the thing. It doesn't work. So he slides his.
Put some items down. You see him breaking some glass and the fragments of glass that are breaking now. Emily, talk to me about this as evidence in the case.
That, again, is exactly what I said.
No, it's not what you said. It's what you're saying now. This motherfucker.
If you just punch through, the glass would be there. But he's punching through, and you can see him pulling on
He's hacking the door open with the claw side of the hammer.
The claw of the hammer, you can see him pulling on the edges of the window.
You can tell Glenn is very handy. He's got a long honeydew list and no checks on it at all.
All of this makes sense. Why wasn't this released?
Because they didn't want to do it until they put the guy on fucking trial so he wouldn't have an excuse that was not necessary. at all. He wouldn't have an excuse to move the fucking trial or broom jurors.
Now, you could say because it's shocking and horrifying for Nancy Pelosi, and I would agree with that.
You didn't give a fuck about the jokes about her husband being hit in the fucking head. It's always been horrifying. I got news for you, Glenn. Let's just assume everything was exactly what they're saying. That her husband and she have an open relationship and he likes to fuck chubby nudist hippies, who are big Jimmy Dore fans. It's his kink. It's still a hammer attack. It doesn't fucking matter.
Wouldn't want to see this either over.
Are you sure?
And over again on TV. But again, we're in a different world.
You're in a different world.
We're in a different world.
You're in a different world. I said it again.
And it is time our media and everyone else.
You motherfucker, the media wasn't wrong. You picked one source, by the way, that NBC stopped airing and broomed the guy and gave him an exit and said, yeah, that's not how it happened. Every other bit of their reporting reflects the reality that you're seeing in front of you. Every other source that came out was saying the same thing. This motherfucker just zips to the fucking most conspiratorial bullshit, hinky version of events that we now know were exaggerated to get that guy from a local spot to a national spot because he was lucky to be on site. And he's like, this is my shot. I'm here for the magic story. That motherfucker, this guy zips to that shit like a bug light.
Understands your credibility.
I was right the whole time, motherfucker.
Is the most important thing.
That's why they broomed the guy. God damn it.
Because you can't help anyone if they think you're.
You can't. If you
part of the problem or just going to pull it away here.
Yeah, part of the problem or pull it away. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you. Now we've slipped into gibberish. He no longer at this point knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's now just trying to make it to break.
You want a bite? No, take it. Go ahead. This time I won't pull it away.
That's not the case at all. That's you and your supporters trying to drum up fake details based on your misunderstanding of a misunderstanding.
You have no credibility. And that's what's happening with our institutions.
You mean the Blaze?
No one has any credibility.
What the fuck?
Why?
Yes, they do. Everyone else, everyone except that single NBC reporter that reported on this is not having to do a mea culpa today. Anybody notice that? Glenn is. I don't have to. The one dude who gets broomed, who this fucker followed around, like, you're the smart one. That bullshit that he always does. Ugh.
They allow things to go on.
Oh my God. You can't just let us dumbasses. You got to tell me what to believe, because if I'll start believing anything.
And ferment.
Stew even.
Why do that?
Because there are other considerations than placating your conspiracy bullshit.
When you have such a clear...
Here's a good idea. Why make shit up for months based on like early reports when everything that comes out following refutes what you're saying, instead of recognizing that as more information has come out, it's been closer to the truth. Instead of attaching yourself to, he didn't move several feet back. People are, the cops that they interviewed are saying he didn't step back at all, except when he was being attacked, right? Or even in the fucking affidavit. Why is it their responsibility when everybody started to move on from those initial reports as more details? Why do you get to, as a right winger, freeze in fucking space and take in no new information? And that means that everybody else's credibility is on the line.
Clear, open and shut case like this, if they would have released this within 24 hours, which, they'll release body cam footage of
Watch it.
George Floyd immediately.
No. That took some time too.
Immediate.
And he's dead, so you can't charge him. And they thought, to some degree, it would be exculpatory.
Anything our cops do wrong, immediate release.
No, it takes time. Even the Memphis video took a while.
Why wasn't this released, especially when...
I can't keep just revisiting the same dumbassery.
To cause such danger and conspiracy theories.
No. Danger and conspiracy theories, that's your fucking beat, asshole. You don't get to just... So just any absence of knowledge, this motherfucker just gets to spackle with conspiracies and bigoted ones at that. Let's not forget. These aren't just conspiracies like maybe he had a money deal with the guy. Maybe this was all about Hunter's. Maybe that guy had Hunter Biden's laptop and Pelosi was trying to buy it back so he could throw it in the fucking in the ocean. It was all anti-gay because it's San Francisco attacks.
I don't know. And I don't know why NBC News allowed that to go from the reporter through the hands of several journalists and...
Because at that time, they thought he was the best source because he was the closest to it. They found out later that wasn't the case.
Several editors.
Those editors were editors were in fucking New York.
Are they still on payroll?
Oh, fuck off. They didn't pretend to hunt down the things. They took the source as credible. The reporter is responsible for their own sources. The editor at Good Morning America is not responsible for the fucking Toledo reporter who bullshits about the size of the prize hog.
It shouldn't be. That is wildly wrong, their report. But we'll continue to follow this story. Let me tell you quickly about our sponsor.
Oh, eat it. Fuck off. No. You don't get to put out a fucking 15-minute video that's 12 minutes of you blaming everyone else for your failures and then spend 3 minutes doing a fucking ad at the end. Son of a bitch. Anyways, so that's indicative of what's going on. There's still a bunch of people on Twitter and other places who are, who obviously have a very difficult issue grasping reality. Hold on one second. I'm checking something. Yeah, no, okay. So can you... criminally is on the planet, okay. Former U.S. president claims he could end the Russia-U.S. war in Ukraine within 24 hours. Kremlin immediately seized on the state. Meanwhile, Berlin once again emphasizes it's not part of the war. Okay, let's jump in because there's a lot of problems in the world. God damn it, there's so many tough times. You're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide, and thank you so much. I know that, by the way, the video we just watched will not put to bed some of the grosser conspiratorial shit. Like Don Jr. is not going to do a mea culpa video about the shit he put out about Paul Pelosi. You know why? Because he's not afraid that some left-winger is going to hit his dad with a hammer. He just isn't. Because we're built differently. We just are. If you really believe what we talk about when it comes to being pro-choice and those kind of things, and being, accepting of LGBT people and wanting women to have rights and wanting minorities to have access to everything that everyone else has so they can make the best lives for themselves. If you really believe that, it's hard to gin up your kind of, toxic, violent nature even against an enemy. If you're the current maggot crowd, it's fucking easy. Everybody's got a line, deep betrayer. Everybody does. But in general, it's really hard to get people to, motivated, and they have to be like hyper far left people. And the irony is that they wouldn't like protect, they wouldn't protect Pelosi in this circumstance. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be for revenge for Pelosi. You know, the Dore crowd fucking hate her worse than they hate Trump. I mean, David DePape quoted fucking Jimmy Dore in his fucking blog. And Gavin Long quoted Jimmy Dore when he fucking shot 4 cops, killing 3 of them, giving the last one paralysis and brain damage. He just recently died from his wounds years later after having to be fed through a fucking tube after being ambushed. Ugh. But there's rot in the world. The world is full of darkness. But there's one man who can set it all straight. President Trump on cleaning out the rot and corruption in D.C. I know what you're thinking. Didn't he already have 4 fucking years to do something? Oh, and yes, DePape had a blog. We looked at it when it first happened. I was on the air the morning of, and we looked at it before the site was taken down.
The new House Committee on the Weaponization of the federal government is a rare chance to expose the breathtaking corruption of the security state.
Why is he going blurry?
The media and the Washington swamp.
Really? It's a historic chance, is it? The 4 years you were in the actual White House in charge of almost everything, it was just a bad time for it. It's just, the timing has to be right. You're right.
Here are just a few of the questions the committee hopefully will be asking.
Probably. Was this list sent to you by Jim? GYM?
Number 1, who is on the Mueller witch hunt that investigated me and ordered dozens and dozens of cell phones to be wiped clear of all data after the phones were requested by the Office of the Inspector General, who, by the way, did a fantastic report on the corrupt FBI?
Okay. At this point, I don't know if he knows or how he's even grasping the idea that the team phones were wiped after the fact so that anything that they discussed that was part of a legal proceeding or a future investigation or a grand jury stuff wouldn't get out to the public. By the way, which would help this motherfucker. But then, as in line with what we just saw from Glenn Beck, he can now, because they've been wiped clean, assume that there was exculpatory evidence on all of them.
And the corrupt Comey and all of the rest of them?
Yeah, the corrupt Comey and all of the rest of them. Fuck.
But they asked that all data on their phones, never done this before, be wiped off. In some cases, they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. Can you?"
I'm sorry. Wait, can you unwipe your phone?
Imagine what we would have found.
Yes, we would have found out that Barr and Durham ignored a tip from the Italian authorities that you were engaged in financial crimes that they refused to indict and refused to investigate. That was all over those phones, dummy. It was all throughout it. A bunch of everybody just discussing. What about this fucking Italian tip? I mean, they sent us fucking spreadsheets. That's his signature. Why don't we look into that? I don't do it. Oh, but I can. Oh, come on.
With Page and Strzok.
And the lovers.
And all of them.
All the peoples. All the who the. Oh, this is awesome.
Of them. Who in the Mueller team was in?
Wow, he just got lost. Page and Strzok and all of them in the car. And Daddy wants some French fries. Come back. Oh, sorry. Okay, where was I? You.
In charge of leaking secret information and fake news stories.
You can't leak fake news. You can lie, make up a story, but if it's only the truth can be leaked. You can't leak a lie. Hashtag you can't leak a lie.
To dishonest journalists, of which there are many.
Well, if you leak something that's damaging to the president to a dishonest journalist, aren't they going to say the opposite? Because you're trusting them to put out what you tell them to put out, and then you can't trust them because they're dishonest. Fuck me.
to perpetrate the Russia hoax, and that's what it was. Turned out.
So it turned out to be a hoax, except for that part that they didn't look into. Thank God.
It was a total hoax.
It's a total hoax. Everything's a total hoax. Everything's a hoax. It's all a hoax. Hoax. Why isn't the magic word hoax fixing things? I used to fix things. I used to say hoax, and people go, what? And then by the time they looked up, I was gone. Now it takes me 20 minutes to leave a room. Hoax doesn't work. I gotta go hoax, 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 hoax. And while they're laughing, I fart and leave a cloud and disappear into it.
It was all misinformation. It was all a horrible thing that.
Cut, please. Somebody. All right, the editor has just decided, fuck him.
Given to the people of our country illegally by a fake press.
Yep. Wait a minute. This isn't the New York Times. This is the New Jerk Times. You guys, stop picking up the newspaper at Spencer's Gifts. You got me again. Stop bringing me fake newspapers that squirt water in my face. That wasn't water. Son of a bitch! The article said pee-pee tape, and then I open it, pow! Ah, the nerve.
A corrupt press.
Are they...
corrupt politicians. Why did numerous FBI and CIA analysts go out and purchase professional liability insurance the day the fake Steele dossier was first published?
I don't know. They just happened to be the... I don't know, is it part of... the Obamacare, that was just the sign-up day. They bought liability insurance. Maybe they all decided to take up motorcycling. What the fuck? Liability insurance. I thought they all took out insurance against being caught committing a crime. Apparently, there's like you can buy, there's these things called get out of jail free cards. I didn't even know this. I've never played Monopoly. I would just win anyways. But
because they knew it was fake.
Yes, liability insurance for law enforcement personnel is fake.
And they knew that sometime there'd be a guy like Trump that wants to go.
There's no guy like Trump. There's just Trump, and that's it. Or I guess you mean DeSantis? Still.
Go after them. Have any fake news journalists been paid or compensated by U.S. government agencies directly or indirectly?
Indirectly, yeah. Yeah, they held the button on the water fountain for them. I think it was a $500 fine.
For their role in spreading domestic disinformation like the FBI did with Twitter. Paid them $3,600,000 so far that we know of.
No.
The FBI paid.
They paid. They paid for them to make copies of documents that they needed because it wasn't criminal. They were asking for it. And so they paid for the telecommunications access, and they paid for the programming that would be required to help them track down child pornographers and fentanyl salesmen. It's interesting. If only the FBI had paid Snapchat for the same fucking procedure, it wouldn't be the place where most kids in the country can buy fentanyl.
Think of this. To Twitter, over $3 million.
And I'm so broke right now. What I could do with that $3 million. Oh, the fish delights. Oh, the Ivanka lookalikes I could get. Oh, my diaper is full. I edit.
And the purpose was to get it wrong, to do bad things to our country.
The purpose was to get it wrong. To do bad things. Wait. Oh, shit.
Think of this. To Twitter, over $3 million. And the purpose was to get it wrong, to do bad things to our country.
Shit. Oh, my God. What a dickhead. All right, here we go.
Who orchestrated the FBI's repeated operations to interfere in domestic politics in the final weeks of multiple U.S. election seasons? And specifically, and most importantly, in the presidential election of 2020, what the FBI did was suppress anything bad about Biden.
Yes, they suppressed anything bad about Biden. They must have been busy as fuck. They had to shut down the thing with the. There was a FBI. The New York Post was able to post the story on the Hunter Biden laptop, and Twitter didn't carry it for a period of time because it was an October surprise and it was very close to it, and they'd had it for months. So why the fuck not release the story earlier? Oh, because people could check it and realize it was bullshit.
And go all out. Put it all out there.
Put it all out there. Wag it around like Lauren Boebert's husband at a fucking bowling alley where a 16-year-old is having her birthday party.
Was anything at all bad about Trump? And if there wasn't anything bad, we'll make it up.
Yes, that's right. The FBI was fabricating shit about Trump.
What that was is a rigged election just by itself.
Yes, it's so rigged. If only people had known that Hunter Biden used to be an addict and was trying to get his life together after his brother died. If only we had found that out within a couple of weeks of the election, we'd have gone, fuck it. I know tens of thousands of people are dying and Trump is buddies with Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, and he screwed the pooch the entire time. We were heading into a recession 2 years ago, and the economy's been going down since 2017 after this rudimentary tax bump spike, tax cut spike that he gave. But you know what? Fuck the new guy.
What was the role of federal agents and informants in pressing the crowd toward the Capitol?
Yes, yeah, because they wouldn't have gone on their own. Ray Epps knew the magic words that MK Ultra had projected into the crowd with a ray, and all he had to do was walk up to one guy and say, "Go easy, the cops are just doing their job," and that set them off. It was the equivalent of a red cape being waved in front of a bull, and at that point, the fat, white, middle-aged, redneck members of Antifa and Black Lives Matter raged towards the White House to stop the election of someone that they were for.
On January 6th. Who is Ray Epps? Tell me about Ray Epps.
Okay, Ray Epps is a guy who was a Trump supporter, and he was there at the day before, speaking at some of the rallies, and he was there on the day. I think he spoke at the Ellipse. And at one point, he was one of the first people up at one of the lines, and one of the Proud Boy dudes was attacking police officers, and he told him, go easy, their cops are just doing their job, and that's when that guy decided, fuck this, fuck you, I'm attacking anyways. That's who Ray Epps was. He was trying to protect the cops. He was backing the blue, even as he was still trying to be a loyal maggot to this dipshit.
Where does he come from? I think we know.
Yes, he obviously comes from Spain. No, I don't know where he comes from.
In addition,
I don't. If you know where he comes from, fucking say it. Where does he come from? What do you mean? From a dispenser at FBI headquarters that makes agents provocateur?
The committee needs to do a full review of Pfizer warrants and
Pfizer warrants. Just so you know, Pfizer made the vaccines. Pfizer gave out warrants on people like Carter Page, and he deserved it. Fuck him.
Any abuse of confidential government databases to conduct political spying on American citizens. They spied on American citizens illegally.
No, they didn't. Who's they? What are you talking about?
And they got illegal approvals.
They got illegal approvals. I'm sorry. They got what?
To conduct political spying on American citizens.
What was the word?
They spied on American citizens illegally. And they got illegal approvals.
They got illegal approvals. That's the worst kind, aren't they? The illegal approvals. That gets you right in the... They got illegal approvals. They left this in. Like, we fuck around with the rallies, but he's speaking at rallies like extemporaneously. You fuck up live in front of a crowd and don't walk it back, it's your ass. But still, this is edited. What the fuck?
To conduct political spying on American citizens. They spied on American citizens illegally. And they got illegal approvals. The approvals were gotten by lying to judges. The judges should be very upset. but they don't seem to be.
No, these judges, they just stay calm. I blame Joshua and Ruth.
We should also get a full report on any domestic surveillance of MAGA supporters.
Yes, so they know to which phones are bugged and which light bulbs to take out. Sure, yeah. You know what we should do while we're at it? Why not Al-Qaeda? Why don't we just stop tracking MS-13 as well? Why don't we just announce anyone who has a phone that has a little scratch near the microphone hole or the charging cable? If you got it's on the left side, if it's a direct straight cut, that's from the tool we use to open your phone. I would throw that phone out, especially if you're a criminal related to a criminal, you're a lawyer for a criminal, or you yourself are thinking about becoming a criminal, and our new division of thought police have captured you.
That has taken place under Biden or Obama.
Or all of that happened under you.
And the radical left.
He doesn't know that he was president during January 6th at this point.
Joe Biden is presiding over the most corrupt administration in American history.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I guess there's a lot left over from you, but I think they've done a pretty good job cleaning it up.
Their weaponization of law enforcement, intelligence agencies, and the deep state is in fact, deep-seated.
Oh my God, it's deep-seated. A deep-seated deep state? How did it wiggle in there? It's like that ear thing they put it they use in Star Trek. Deep-seated. He seems caught off guard by his own use of that word. It sounds like he's going to back away from it.
It's the greatest threat American freedom in generations has seen, and their collusion with the fake news media is absolutely atrocious.
He just moved on.
This committee is a vital chance to bring it all to light, begin to heal our divisions, and save our beloved country.
You know what? I think one of the best things you could probably do to show your your commitment to those standards is offer to testify to that committee under oath. I think the standard should be the Hillary standard, 11 hours. Any committee that the Republicans put forward, I think Donald Trump should commit to testifying under oath for 11 hours. What do you think? His teeth are gerbilish. These are brand new teeth, so he's having trouble.
I want to thank you for listening, but it's a big problem.
Listening? Yes, you're right. It's a big problem listening to you, but I manage. I get through it. You know what I mean? It's my optimistic stoicism and my sense of humor. It gets me through, and my love of other people, genuine people, of caring people, of my audience and the fans and my family and people I run into on the street, strangers. It's my love of those folks that keeps me going. They will never let me not enjoy watching you blather about something.
We have to do something for it. I also want to pay my respect.
Wait, for what? Wait, we also have to do something for what?
Save our beloved country. I want to thank you for listening, but it's a big problem. We have to do something for it. I also want to...
It's a big... I'm sorry, that was the whole sentence. Then it's a big problem we have to do something for. I don't understand it. I don't know. That doesn't sound like a sentence to me, but what the fuck do I know? I don't have the best words.
Pay my respect to James Comer and Jim Jordan for the incredible...
They're not dead.
...job they're doing.
Pay your respects to... Oh my God. You know that QAnon people are just Trump thinks they're going to be assassinated for the truth.
For the work they're doing and for the love they have for our country. Thank you both.
Oh, so they're the only ones watching this? I'm guessing they heard most of it. I think they're just as confused as we are. He made more of these. That's the longest one. The rest of them are blissfully short. Like this one. This is 3 minutes. It's shorter.
Under Joe Biden, the
and so they just didn't bother to turn the fucking lights on?
world has become vastly...
It's terrible. The world is vastly more... This is called, by the way, President Trump will build a new missile defense shield. Star Wars Nothing but Star Wars. Oh, God. He's got desperate face, everybody. Look at that. Honest to God, like, it's dark. They had to have turned down, what, the f-stop on this fucking thing?
More dangerous, and there is no greater danger than the deadly menace of nuclear weapons and hypersonic missiles. Hypersonic missiles move at many times the speed of sound and 6 times faster than current missiles.
That's as much as he could get out. And then they had like, stop, stop, stop. I finally got that sentence out. I need a 10-minute break. I'm going to go golf and I'll come back.
Armed with nuclear weapons, they could annihilate entire cities and even countries within minutes. And we...
yes. Unlike all the other nuclear missiles on the fucking planet. I got news for you, fucko. If a hypersonic missile hits anywhere or everywhere all at once, the fail-safes trigger a response back to wherever they came from instant fucking taneously. And no other country has the ability to shoot them out of the air. So who gives a rat fuck if your nuclear missile got here in 8 minutes versus 22 minutes? It makes zero difference. Hypersonic. I call them super duper. That's right.
Cannot let this happen.
Right. So stand outside of your house with a giant aluminum baseball bat, and if you hear anything whizzing, swing at it. Hopefully you'll hit it before the trigger mechanism goes off.
If you take a look right now, the nuclear word is being mentioned all the time.
Yeah, it's if he calls it the N-word in this, oi, you brought it up several times.
This is a word that you're not allowed to use.
Oh, God damn it. Now what am I supposed to say when we talk about fusion or... or the family? How? God damn it. You can't say... I almost said it again.
It was never used during the Trump administration, but now other countries are using that word against us because they have no respect for our leadership. World War III would be a catastrophe unlike any other.
Well, it'd be a catastrophe like World War II for a while, followed by, in theory, limited nuclear strikes.
This would make
a geothermal nuclear war would be unlike anything else. That doesn't necessarily mean that World War III is going to be that. We just always assumed that that's where it was going.
World War I and World War II like very small battles.
It's gonna like nothing. Watch this.
It was never used during the Trump administration.
Shit.
This would make World War I and World War II like very small battles.
Yeah, like very small. Like guys, like very small battles, okay?
The best way to ensure that such a conflict never happens is to be prepared with unmatched technology and unrivaled strength.
So that's why I have been tinkering in my lab, and I have come up with the Mach 1. Some people like Iron Man, other people like Tin Man. I'm Gold Man. I made the Gold Man suit. It kind of looks like Oscar, but I step inside of it. It's got thrusters and other things so you could destroy nuclear weapons. It doesn't fly because since it's made out of gold, it's too heavy. But the
to this end, when I'm commander-in-chief,
you were, dummy.
We did an awfully good job at rebuilding our military. We rebuilt the entire military.
And it's being used to fight for freedom. You must be so upset.
Once again, I will work with Congress and our great military leaders, not the ones you see on television. I don't consider them leaders. But we're going to work with them to build a state-of-the-art, next-generation missile defense shield.
Yeah, this fucking, I'm the new Reagan. We're just doing that again. We're just doing fucking, by the way, we already have one. I got news for you. What the fuck do you think they've been doing all these years? You don't think we actually pay fucking $1,000 for a sink or $500 for a hammer, do you? You know what hypersonic missiles aren't faster than? Light. You know what can blow up a missile out of the air from space? A laser. You know what the United States has 16 of in satellites, at least, orbiting over the United States? Yeah.
Just as Israel is now protected by the Iron Dome, a dream once thought impossible, America must have an impenetrable dome to protect our people.
Yes, fuck the wall, and I'm going to make Russia pay for it. He's going to, Jesus Christ. I'm going to build an impenetrable iron, maybe gold dome. It's going to be called the Gold Dome that will protect us from anyone. And I'm going to make China and Russia and Saudi Arabia and Iran and bad people and the Democrats pay for it.
We worked with Israel to develop that dome.
No, you didn't. You weren't over there tinkering, motherfucker. Who's we?
They relied on us. Not just them. They relied on us. We have technology that's unsurpassed, but our past leaders haven't really wanted to use it.
You were one of the past leaders, you dumb son of a bitch. Our past, like the last guy that was president, before the guy who's, obviously the guy right now sucks, but the last guy, boy did he fuck things up. More Americans died under his watch than, oh shit.
I rebuilt our military at a level that nobody thought possible.
Well, if you rebuild something, obviously the level of a rebuild is to whatever the level was before. So obviously someone thought that level was possible before because they'd gotten it to that level before, hence rebuilding it. That's like saying we rebuilt your house exactly as it was in a way that no one could have imagined except the architect and your family that lived in it for 15 years.
We have to now go that further step.
Yes, go further. Do it. We need a bigger, better, we need a glossy, shiny, Swarovski encrusted, I can't even say that without pooping a little.
We must be able to defend our homeland, our allies, and our military assets around the world from the threat of hypersonic missiles, no matter where they are launched from.
Well, if they're launched from space, everything faster than the speed of sound, or like twice the speed of sound, is hypersonic. So at some point, like in a battle against actual aliens, I'm just saying all of their shit's going to be hypersonic. That's why lasers are silent. All right.
Our adversaries must understand that they, not the United States, will be totally destroyed if they ever dared to launch missiles against our homeland.
Yeah, they know that. It's mutual assured destruction. It's fucking stupid. We've had it forever. If they launched hypersonic missiles, it wouldn't fucking matter. Even though they're super fast, they don't have enough of them, or they're not close enough where you could wipe out every nuke that would be coming that way. We've got 26. All right. We have 2,600 fucking active functional nukes pointed at Russia and China right now.
The Space Force, which was inaugurated under my leadership, will have a very vital role to play. It was such an important thing we did. The Democrats fought us all the way, but...
No, they didn't.
We got it passed. First time in 79 years. A new force.
A new force. Not since the ass force.
Just as I rebuilt our military, especially our nuclear capabilities, I will build the shield to defend America from missile attack.
Yes, we'll call it Space Wall. Space Wall. Hashtag Space Wall. Oh, Space Wall. Oh, God. Oh, shit. I'm going to build a space wall and make the aliens pay for it. Oh, my God. I'm going to make the nukes pay for it. God damn. Oh, God. What an asshole. Space Mexico. Space Mexicans will pay for the space wall.
Peace through strength.
Uh-huh.
And that's what we had, and we had no wars during the Trump administration.
Well, yeah, yes, we did. We were in Afghanistan the entire time you were there. Yes, you campaigned on getting out. We were still there. Also Syria, but fuck off. Who's counting?
We had no wars.
No wars, just the war on terror, and that's it. I don't even remember.
Remember that.
Remember that, even though it's not true. Just think that. Now we're not going to have a space war either.
Because we were strong, the other side knew it, and they didn't want to play games. They didn't want to mess around.
Yeah. Did they want to do the mess around?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Oh, God. They're fucking with him now. Like, they're just like, yeah, do another one. Somebody, this is like, all right, we've done the numbers. We've crunched the numbers. And these videos, every time he puts one out, his score against DeSantis goes down 2 points. I think we just need to put out a bunch of them right away where he looks like a right jackass. Just pump them out and just watch it go do. Oh, motherfucker. All right. So, yeah, we're just barely getting into this. The rest of these, I said, are really short. This is Donald J. Trump to Russian hoaxer Charles McGonigal. May he rot in hell. Okay, first of all, he's not dead. Secondly, he was trying to help you dumb son of a bitch. McGonigal was lying to the press and to other investigators to lessen the attack. This goes back to the same fucking FISA warrant bullshit. The guy who got busted and who was actually found guilty of lying on a FISA warrant application on Carter Page was trying to keep them from being able to extend the warrant. He took a piece of detail off where the government would go, okay, this guy's definitely got access, so the warrant's very important. He took off the detail that he had worked before or been a courier or something for the CIA or at one point. He took that detail off because if it's just citizen Carter Page, the government is overreaching. But if it's Carter Page, who used to have access and might know people, who's now playing fucking footsie and traveling to Russia and working with elements of that guy, we might need to watch that motherfucker. Get it? He took that detail out to make it less likely the warrant would be extended. The problem was the judge remembered. Okay, sorry, 1 second. So this is May He Rot in Hell. 23 seconds of this video is 23 seconds long.
The FBI guy after me for the Russia hoax, long before my election as president, was just
long before my election as president. By the way, McGonigal had his toe in fucking Russia for decades and was absolutely on Trump's side.
Arrested for taking money from Russia.
From Russia. No, he took it from Oleg Deripaska, another guy linked to your campaign specifically. Same dude who worked with Manafort.
May he rot in hell.
Yeah, that's it. May he rot in hell. Like, he's just given up on fucking, on typing. That's it. Yeah, Manchita. Somebody's obviously telling him this is gold. That's it. That's the entire thing. Here you go. President Trump, dismantle the deep state. Oh, this is going to be so good. By the way, deep state and an establishment, if you ever hear anybody say those things, especially in the media sphere, it slips out with everybody once in a while. But if you ever meet somebody and they use it in genuine conversation, they're idiots. I'm genuinely idiots. Okay, here we go. This is a minute 10. May rot in hell, may rot in hell, may rot in hell for... All right.
One of the very same FBI officials who was centrally involved in the launch of the Russia hoax.
Oh shit! This must have been take number 1. He did a long form and then he just did a fuck him video tweet.
Has now been charged for himself colluding with a Russian oligarch. In other words, colluding with Russia. Charles McGonigal.
That word, it's hard to get out of your throat if you got brand new teeth. That's a lot. Look at this asshole trying to say McGonigal.
Now been charged for himself colluding with a Russian oligarch. In other words, colluding with Russia. Charles McGonigal.
I swallowed a pin, I think. Well, I don't know what that was. I think one of my molars
was allegedly paid $250,000 by a former Russian.
By the way, for a billionaire, he sure does get wrapped up in how much money other people are making. You ever notice that? You ever see a real billionaire talk about people who make millions of dollars? They fucking shrug it off. Don't believe me? Watch Mark Cuban or somebody discuss like millions of dollars like you talk about 20s or 5s. I'm dead serious. This motherfucker's like, he got $10,000? Where's my cut? Like, it's amazing.
Russian intelligence official, even while he was still working for the FBI, trying to frame the President of the United States, your favorite president, me, as a Russian spy. I said, I'm not a Russian spy. Where does this all come from? This was...
Oh, shit. First of all, I would like to say for the record, I never believed that Trump was a Russian spy. I think he's a Russian chaos agent. He's a useful idiot and an asset. But the idea is that he was not there to carry out some sort of specific... There's no point where... There's no rig that would lower him down Mission Impossible style into some, like, clean room where he could steal national secrets. That's what spies do. This fucker was just there to gum up the works. He's about as much of a spy as the marrow bones that Sherlock Holmes throws into the gears at the pig factory in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movie. That was a reach, but you get what I'm saying. Anybody who's seen that movie knows exactly what I'm talking about. Trump is exactly those fucking pig bones just thrown into the gears. That's all he is.
This was a setup. This was a hoax. This was a total international disgrace to our country.
Well, you mean your campaign or the presidency in entirety? I mean, I think the whole run that you did qualifies.
The latest example of galling corruption and hypocrisy is one more reason why we need a president to clean house in Washington, D.C.
Hey, fucko, we have one. By the way, that's why the guy's getting broomed out. If you'll notice, he worked there the entire time you were there. You know when he's getting broomed out? You know when he got busted and got kicked out? During the Biden administration. What the fuck? This is like, they're catching all this. There's so much fentanyl being caught coming across the border. You goddamn right. You think it wasn't coming across during the Trump years? Now it's getting caught.
And restore government that is honest, transparent, and accountable to the American people.
Yeah, but I think Jimmy Carter's too old to serve. At this point, I mean, I love him. Do I think his judgment's still sound? Absolutely. I just don't think it's good for him to keep the hours. That's it. That's the end of that one. That's a minute 10. They get, this one is, I don't know, we'll see how long this one is. President Trump, Biden and the Democrats are totally deranged. This one can't be long. This has got to be 30 seconds. 23 seconds. Biden and the Democrats, I call them the demon rats, are totally deranged. Thank you.
They created this document mess for themselves by being...
Who are we talking about? Why? Are they just catching you mid-conversation?
So totally deranged about me. And I did absolutely nothing wrong. It's really incredible to watch, isn't it?
I don't know what you're watching. I don't know what you're talking about. You posted a video with a header on it and obviously a tail on it, and you're mid-conversation with, I don't know, who are you talking to? Your own farts? What is happening? That's it. That's the whole, all right. That's all of it. Honest to God, I think it's just an excuse to put that, like,
they created
the text to Trump thing.
This document mess for themselves by being so totally deranged about me. And I did absolutely nothing wrong. It's really incredible to watch, isn't it?
That's it. He thinks that's a post. Motherfucker. All right, this one's short too. President Trump, our country has become the investigation capital of the world. I don't know what that means. You don't know what that means. He's about to say it, but I don't think he knows what it means. The investigation capital of the world. Good for us.
Our country has become the investigation capital of the world.
Okay, yeah, I saw the title. What?
Actually, that's all we do.
Oh, I didn't realize. We're just in the investigation. We're the United States of FBI. That's right. I mean, we do all, I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, to be completely frank, between you and me, we all do watch a lot of true crime. Too much, I would argue. Who gives a shit about this John Benet Ramsey bullshit? Give it up. You're never going to figure it out. Leave the parents alone. They're donors of mine, and we need to stop hounding them. We're always, every time you turn around, there are police looking into murders and tax fraud and Russians and real estate. That has to come to an end. It's all we do. We need to find a hobby, America, one that doesn't involve me and my financial misdeeds. Can we, I think...
And it's only good for our many enemies, our enemies that are laughing at us all over the world.
I still don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I really, I mean, I think if I can put my Trump translator on, I think what he means is because we spend so much time investigating him that he thinks the rest of the world who was scared of him or respected him thinks America sucks because legally we're going after him instead of just letting shit slide like these third world countries he decries or these autocracies that he sucks up to.
They could not be happier as they brilliantly plot our demise and destruction. We have to get back to making America great again.
Yeah, that's a video. That he fucking put that up. So the context here is that if we spend any time investigating our former leaders who are engaged in criminality, especially situations where they acted out violently or encouraged others to act violently towards our own government, that somehow, while, by the way, having the lowest unemployment in almost 60 years, increasing our GDP, having genuine growth and lowering inflation and gas prices over a period of time, that while the rest of the country, the countries that he's talking about are floundering and going through hell, that those folks are laughing at us because we're able to like walk, chew gum, and teabag this dumb motherfucker at the same time. Yeah, he does make, by comparison, his videos make Don Jr.'s seem logical and sane. President Trump slams Peter Baker's coverage of the Biden document scandal. You've had it, Peter Baker. You're being singled out. What? This one's longer, though. He's mad about this. Why aren't you going after him? Well, because he didn't fight it. Once they found out, they immediately turned stuff over, and then they invited the FBI to come and do a search on their own. They didn't say, we'll do it. They did it voluntarily. Meanwhile, this asshole fought it for a year and a half.
Peter Baker writes in the failing New York Times that, quote,
by the way, the New York Times is still a newspaper, and Donald Trump is not a president anymore.
Biden's errors on files, meaning documents, blur Trump's...
Wait, files and documents are the same thing? So those top secret file folders you had, because they're called file folders, must have had documents in them. Where are they?
Case. Well, that's the way it is. But, you know, there are bigger problems.
Oh my God. What am I, what am I supposed, I mean, shit. This is amazing. Watch this. I'll let it.
Peter Baker writes in the failing New York Times that, quote, Biden's errors on files, meaning documents, blur Trump's case. Well, that's the way it is. But, you know, there are bigger problems because who's seeing all of his files?
Who saw all of your files? Do you have any copies? Why is the FBI, since Biden voluntarily let the FBI search all of his properties, when is Trump going to voluntarily ask the FBI to search Bedminster specifically and Trump Tower, if not the rest of his fucking properties?
Who's seeing all those documents? They're put in a basement. And
garage, you dumb fuck. That's the talking point. Shit. They're put in a basement. Garage. Shh. Hey. Garage.
But, you know, there are bigger problems because who's seeing all of his files? Who's seeing all those documents? They're put in a basement, an unlocked basement with no security.
What are you talking about? An unlocked basement? No. Basement is where this door. Okay, fuck. He can't even get his talking points right. Locked garage. We know that. That's the talking point. And then Biden campaigned from his basement, which means it's part of the house, which is always locked. So, all right.
So it may be so, what Peter says, but perhaps he means it in a much different way.
Oh my God. Shit. Winging it is not his strong suit.
Because, as you know, Peter Baker was President Obama's biographer and his biggest fan. The biggest fan.
I don't know. I hold on. Give me a second. Might be outside. Hold on. I beg your fucking pardon. Citation needed. All of his freeze frames are like that. All right, I'm just saying. That's the Trump, it's dripping down my leg face. He always makes that when he makes it's hard to speak.
Think of that.
Yeah, I thought about it. I went and got my picture of him. I also have a bust of him. It's in the, I think I moved it around because I had it in here for a while. And then I took it out in the other room. So, yeah.
And what he had in mind was probably different from what other people were thinking.
Oh my God. This motherfucker has no idea what he's saying. He's just pooping. This is every bit of this. He's just lost, and they still fucking posted this. It's Addy jaw. You think he's got Adderall jaw? No doubt. I completely agree. What is this? Listen, I think the case he's making is that Peter Baker was trying to help, was saying, you know, Biden having these documents makes it easier to, makes it harder to attack Trump and Pence because there are documents that are out there. He's wrong, of course, because it's not having the documents that are the problem. It's your willful attempt to keep them and lying about having them. That's the issue. That's the crime.
Blur Trump's case. Well, that's the way it is. But, you know, there are bigger problems because who's seeing all of his files? Who's seeing all those documents? They're put in a basement, an unlocked basement with no security. So it may be so, what Peter says, but perhaps he means it in a much different way. Because, as you know, Peter Baker was President Obama's biographer and his biggest fan. The biggest fan. Think of that. And what he had in mind was probably different from what other people were thinking. Politically, it has effectively let former President Donald J. Trump off the hook. The fact that Biden was so egregious. And he might be right about that, people.
Yeah, you just took a moment to shit on the guy who says you might have some breathing room.
He might be right. They said, let me off the hook. However, he states that Biden has cooperated with authorities while President Trump has not. This is just false. It's exactly the opposite.
No, it isn't. But please say it is.
We were dealing with NARA, adding extra locks at the request of the people.
Oh, now it's multiple locks. None of them were actually latched, but
That wanted it locked up. We had it locked up.
it was locked. It was locked up. Ask Anna de Rothschild. We put her on watch duty.
But they wanted extra locks. We added them.
We had lots of locks. The whole thing, it looked like Henry Winkler's door. It's night shift.
We were talking to NARA very nicely as per the Presidential Records Act. That's what
Yes, you nicely went, fuck your subpoena. It was very nice.
it says we have to do. Everything was going fine. We would have worked out a deal. We were getting along, believe it or not.
I don't believe it.
And then, lo and behold, they raided Mar-a-Lago. They came in and raided it.
They raided it. Okay, the dude is fucking slipping. I'm not kidding. This is a fucking mess. This is bad. This is really bad. Posting this is bad. Like, there is not a single Republican who feels better about him running or voting for him next time or even last time watching this video. Not a fucking single one. Not a QAnon. Not fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. I guarantee the only person who's happy about how shitty he seems in this is Marge, because if she thinks he can still win because MAGA will back him, which, no. But let's say in her fantasy he takes over, she's going, oh fuck, he might die. And then I'll be president. And then, won't that be great? And then you get a pipe bomb, and you get a pipe bomb, and you get a pipe bomb.
Same place that they asked us to put an extra lock. They went and raided that.
He's doing very well. He seems very relaxed. He's not like gritting his teeth and flipping out, or at least this is under oath, so we know he's telling the truth.
So what's going on in this country is sad.
Yeah, I agree. It's sad that we have a shitty ex-president like this that somehow is so bad we've forgotten what an awful fuck George W. Bush was.
It's very sad.
It's so sad.
And it has to stop, and it has to stop soon.
Well, I mean, you could always turn yourself in at the nearest police station or FBI office.
It was
I actually don't, because in Florida they give you a key like Epstein had, and you can go home on weekends. I don't know. Can't drive. Fly to New York. You know people there.
Exactly the opposite. We were the ones that were transparent. We were the ones that were dealing with NARA and even the FBI. They should have never been involved. What we did was
Why were you dealing with them? Oh, never mind.
according to the Presidential Records Act and according to the Sox case, that was a Clinton case, that covers this very accurately, the Sox case.
I just say Sox case. Somebody said Sox case. Roger Stone said Sox or something like that. Sox case. And I'm like, that'll do it. I'll just say that.
Big victory.
It was a big victory.
But according to that and the Presidential Records Act, we were doing everything perfect.
Well, yes, according to everyone, it couldn't have gotten more perfect. Hold on one second. I want to grab something. This is, see, yeah, 2007. Oh, I see. So, this is the Sox case. Clinton's secrets in his sock drawer. It's a good thing former President Bill Clinton had lots of socks. It's where he kept all of his secrets recorded on tape. Author Taylor Branch reveals that Bubba invited him into the residence over 70 times to record Clinton's oral history. Clinton kept the tapes in a sock drawer. He later used them for his autobiography. After the sessions, Branch would tape his own recollections on his drive home. Whoops, get out of His tape-based book, Wrestling History, the Bill Clinton tapes, is out next year. Finding room for the tapes wasn't hard because Clinton had a lot of socks. Branch said, that's it. Those are personal recordings. Trump thinks, like, those are my notes. That's my note, and I'm noting it. And you just got to know that these are my notes. Everything is like a recording of Bill Clinton's voice about secrets and things.
Biden wasn't. It was just the opposite. We were transparent. He wasn't. Thank you very much.
That'll do it. Yeah, that'll just say it's they've got it all backwards, and that should cover it. Fuck me. Next one, we got two more left. President Trump's blast DOJ cover up of Biden document scandal, and I think this is it's a minute 43. All these are super fucking short because he just needs to post them online. They're fucking embarrassing. And by the way, in many ways, it's like his tweets, the audiobook with his misspellings and everything.
Tiana Lowe from the Washington Examiner said it best.
Yes, because the Washington Examiner is a pro-Trump right-wing media source. Go ahead.
Quote, it's very disturbing that this goes back to time in the Senate because unlike President Trump, Vice President Biden didn't have the right to declassify these documents.
Oh, yeah, Biden did.
No ability whatsoever to do so. We're talking about a span of 2 decades minimum.
No, because the documents from the time he was in the Senate, he retrieved those while he was vice president, when, by the way, he had the right to classify or declassify documents given to him by Obama anyways. And he's not even making that claim. He's saying these are classified, some of these are classified, they just shouldn't be out in the wind at all, but it's old data.
The timeline there, 68 days elapsed between Biden finding the documents and them becoming public news.
Yeah, but they were at NARA in 24 hours. In 24 hours. And the boxes that they were around, not even just the boxes they were in, but all the boxes around them. And they allowed NARA to sort through them and give back stuff that wasn't classified. They let them sift through it within 24 hours. It was less than 24 hours. It was the next morning.
They did this to avoid not only the midterm election, but the crucial Georgia election, a DOJ cover-up, end of quote. Why did they do that? I wonder. According to the great Maria Bartiromo, she's great.
She's so great. She has me on there. They don't let her have me on there anymore, but she had me, Maria Bartiromo. She's great. She still thinks we're experiencing inflation and not supply shock. I love her for that.
On Mornings with Maria.
Mornings with me. How do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you find within?
The Justice Department has shown us that this has been a double standard, a totally double standard. If you're
a totally double standard. Best words, best people. He's the guy. This is the front runner, ladies and gentlemen.
Republican, or especially if you're a Trump Republican, they go after you. If you're a Democrat, you can do anything you want, including murder.
Woo! Yeah! Come on, everybody! It's the Democrat purge. For the record, no, you can't. To any Democrat listening to this video, no, you cannot. You cannot get away with murder. You're not allowed to murder people. I love that you're like, yep. They don't even charge Democrats.
Standard. If you're a Republican, or especially if you're a Trump Republican, they go after you.
Well, yeah, they usually for things like child porn. But
if you're a Democrat, you can do anything you want, including murder. Just take a look at Antifa and BLM.
Antifa are not Democrats. Never mind the anti-fascist comment. The people who are like the black bloc Antifa crowd don't vote. They're anarchists. They don't like the Democratic Party any more than they like the Republican. They don't like the function of government, period. They think it all has to come down. And BLM, what do you mean, the organization, or everybody who just believes that Black Lives Matter? Because apparently Republicans are safe from murder charges because they don't think Black Lives Matter? Is that how it works?
But Maria Bartiromo gets it, and there's no doubt about that.
No, she doesn't get. I'm amazed, quite frankly, that Maria Bartiromo still has a show, because she's almost single-handedly responsible for the $1 billion Dominion lawsuit.
Also, election interference was in effect, given the fact that they sat on this information and we didn't know until January, long after the election was over. This is a disgrace to...
Well, Biden wasn't running, and it has no effect on him whatsoever. What are you talking about? And do you think it would have changed the Dodd voters? You think women would have gone, you know what, fuck my rights. Biden had like 6 documents from 27 years ago in his garage that technically are classified that NARA never asked him for, never thought were missing. And he was like, oh shit, I have these. Do you guys want these back? And they were like, yes, we do. And then they gave them back. Oh my God, the scandal.
To our country, it's a disgrace to free and fair elections, which they weren't. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad that you think you lost and you were cheated. Just makes you angry. That makes me happy. By the way, I'm way over, so I'm going to let you guys go because I have radio in the morning. We got so much stuff to cover. Thanks for going over, being here while I went over the Paul Pelosi tape and that story. Glenn Beck is not the only person who covered it in terms of, kind of dialing back their rhetoric, but he was the most sort of like overt, egregious, kind of CYA commentator about it. And it gives a good example of what you'll see as a spattering of walking back or total silence from the right about their lies and that kind of stuff. And I would like to say for the record that if any of you find yourself in a situation where you have an intruder in the house and it's 45 minutes before you can call the cops and it takes them 10 minutes to get there after you call them, I hope you manage to have the same like balanced and calm response that he had, no matter what you end up having to do to save your own life. That said, thank you guys so much for subscribing, for supporting the show. Thank you, Muffin, Klaatu, Maratha, Nickel, Captain Nemo, thank you so much. James, thank you. Mike, I'm glad your days are better. It's what I'm here for, brother. Robert Brunswick, thank you so much. Ball Thanos thinks Ficus did it, whatever it was. James, thank you. Excellent segment, Hal. Usually I hate the Glenn Beck pieces. Thank you for tearing the fool apart. Yeah, you had it coming. James, thank you as well. Travis, oh my gosh, Marianne, thank you for the super chat. Really lovely of you. Thanks for resubscribing, guys. Thanks for becoming members. You can become a member on the YouTube channel. You can become a subscriber on Twitch. You can follow on the Facebook page. Anywhere you go, you can like and subscribe. That helps in some form or another. Even if you can't afford to help the show and be a Patreon supporter, which, by the way, the Patreon members in the Creative Circle level, I just added something to your Discord that you have access to. It's a little treat. So go check it out. Go check it out. I don't know why I became Jack Torrance in that moment, but I think you got a surprise coming to you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm going to be adding Discord treats at all the levels, but obviously, is it nudes? Not yet. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's nice for a couple of reasons. I explained it, and there's a little breakdown and a little example of what I put on there. You do have to sign up. I'm not telling what everybody else because it's a secret. You have to sign up on the website that it uses. That's all I'm saying. But once you do, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Anyways, love you guys. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, patreon.com/HalSparks. Please support the show. And then, of course, super chat. You can, if you're watching this later, you can do a super thanks. If you don't watch it while it's live and you watch it later, there's usually a super thanks thing, and it's a little heart down there. If you click on that, you can donate to the show later. throw a buck our way. It would be nice at one point if we ever get to the point where everybody who watches the show throws in a buck a week. I don't know, whatever it is. If we got to that point, by golly, I'd have a studio by now. So if you can't afford that, or you don't like to pay for things on the internet and you're nervous, that's totally fine, because I'm here to lessen your stress, not add to it. So just give a thumbs up and that'll be plenty. And I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Sleep well.